Beloved soul, today the message comes gently but with unmistakable certainty. God is not whispering in confusion or speaking in riddles meant to hurt you. He is speaking in love, in clarity, and in timing that your heart is finally ready to receive. He has confirmed His love for you, not as an abstract idea, not as a distant promise, but as a living truth that has followed you through sleepless nights, unanswered prayers, and moments when you almost gave up believing you were seen. His love has never been in question. What He is revealing now is deeper. It is about understanding, not just comfort. It is about wisdom, not just reassurance. And today, He is opening your eyes to why she stays. You have wondered, sometimes quietly and sometimes with tears you couldn't explain, why certain connections don't end even when they feel heavy. You've asked God why, if He loves you, He allows this emotional tension to linger. You've questioned whether her staying is a sign of destiny, a test of patience, or a delay that hurts more than it heals. God hears those questions. He has heard every one of them. And today, He wants you to know that nothing about your story is accidental. Not her presence. Not your feelings. Not the timing. Not even the confusion. God's love for you is not proven by removing every struggle from your path. It is proven by how He walks with you through them. How He shapes your heart while you wait, and how He protects you from outcomes you cannot yet see. When God confirms His love, He does not always do it by giving you what you want immediately. Often, He does it by teaching you what you need eternally. She stays not to torment you, but to reveal something within you that could not be revealed any other way. Sometimes God allows a person to remain in your life because they are a mirror. Not a mirror to show you perfection, but a mirror to show you growth that still needs to happen, wounds that still need healing, and strength that you haven't yet realized you possess. Her staying is not a punishment. It is a process. You see, if God removed her too soon, you might believe that love is something you chase or lose randomly. You might believe that your worth depends on whether someone chooses you fully or not. God will not let that lie take root in your heart. So He allows you to sit in the tension long enough to understand that your value was never in her hands to give or take away. Your value was sealed the moment God formed you with intention. There is a difference between someone staying because they are meant to walk with you and someone staying because God is using the situation to mature you. Not every presence is a promise. Not every delay is denial. And not every unanswered prayer is abandonment. Sometimes God keeps a door partially open so you can learn discernment instead of desperation. She stays because God is teaching you patience that is rooted in peace, not anxiety. If she left suddenly, you might confuse relief with healing. God wants more for you than temporary relief. He wants wholeness. He wants you to reach a place where your heart is steady whether she stays or goes. That steadiness is power. That steadiness is freedom. That steadiness is love grounded in God rather than fear. God also wants you to see how you love. Are you loving from fullness or from lack? Are you hoping she fills a space only God was meant to occupy? Are you waiting for her to choose you so you can finally choose yourself? These are not accusations. They are invitations. Invitations to grow, to release, to trust deeper. She stays because there are lessons you would avoid if the answer came too quickly. Lessons about boundaries. Lessons about self-respect. Lessons about listening to God's voice instead of clinging to potential. God knows your heart. He knows you love deeply, sincerely, and loyally. But He also knows that love without wisdom can drain you. So He teaches you balance through experience. God confirms His love for you by not letting you settle for confusion forever. The revelation is coming. But before the revelation becomes visible, the preparation must happen internally. She stays while God strengthens your discernment so that when clarity arrives, you will not be shattered by it, you will be ready for it. There is also something important you must hear without fear. Her staying does not automatically mean she is the one. And her leaving, when or if it happens, will not mean you were unworthy. God does not measure your worth by another person's ability to commit, choose, or understand you. God measures your worth by His own decision to love you unconditionally. That decision was made long before she entered your life. Sometimes God allows someone to stay because He is also working on them. You are not the only one in process. She may be wrestling with her own fears, wounds, and uncertainties. God is just as aware of her heart as He is of yours. But hear this clearly: God will never ask you to shrink, beg, or break yourself while someone else figures out what they want. His love does not require self-abandonment. If at any point her staying begins to cost you your peace, your faith, or your sense of self, God will intervene. He is not passive. He is patient. There is a difference. His patience is purposeful. It aligns timing, character, and truth. When the time is right, what needs to move will move, and what needs to remain will remain, without confusion. God is also showing you that love is not proven by how long someone stays undecided. Love is proven by clarity, consistency, and mutual growth. If she stays but does not grow toward you, God may be using the season to grow you away from dependence on her presence. That is not loss. That is preparation for something healthier. You may feel like you are waiting in the middle, between hope and surrender, between faith and frustration. God sees that tension. He knows how heavy it feels. And He is closer to you in this waiting than you realize. Some of the deepest transformations happen quietly, without announcements or signs that others can see. But heaven sees every shift in your heart. God confirms His love for you by reminding you that you are not behind. You are not missing out. You are not being forgotten. This season is not a mistake. It is shaping your future discernment, so you do not repeat cycles of uncertainty. It is teaching you to recognize when love is mutual and when it is one-sided. It is teaching you to trust God's timing more than your emotions. She stays because God is giving you time to outgrow what once felt necessary. One day you will look back and realize that what you were afraid to lose was never meant to define you. And whether she becomes part of your future or a chapter that taught you strength, you will understand that God's love carried you the entire way. God is also protecting you from rushing into something that looks right emotionally but isn't aligned spiritually. Alignment matters. Peace matters. Mutual clarity matters. God is not cruel. He does not delay out of indifference. He delays out of precision. Listen closely. You are not being tested to see how much pain you can endure. You are being taught how to love without losing yourself. You are being shown that your identity is secure in God, not in another person's decision. That lesson will serve you for the rest of your life. If you feel tired, God understands. If you feel confused, He is not disappointed. If you feel ready to release control, He welcomes that surrender. You do not have to force clarity. You do not have to manipulate outcomes. You do not have to prove your worth. God already knows the end from the beginning. She stays for now because there is still something unfolding. But know this with certainty: God will not let you remain in emotional limbo forever. His love always leads to truth. And truth always leads to peace. There will come a moment, quiet, undeniable, when things shift. Either her heart will align with yours in a way that brings peace instead of confusion, or God will gently loosen your attachment so that letting go feels like relief instead of loss. Both outcomes are expressions of God's love. Both are answers to prayer. Until that moment comes, rest in this truth: you are deeply loved. Not conditionally. Not temporarily. Deeply. Completely. Faithfully. God has not abandoned you in this waiting. He is walking with you, shaping you, protecting you, and preparing you for a love that does not leave you questioning your worth. Today's message is not meant to rush you or frighten you. It is meant to ground you. To remind you that God's love is steady even when relationships feel uncertain. To help you trust that whatever happens next will not break you, it will build you. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not unloved. God has confirmed His love for you. And now, as He reveals why she stays, He is also revealing who you are becoming: stronger, wiser, more rooted, and more at peace than you have ever been before. And as this message continues, God asks you to slow your heart for a moment and listen, not with urgency, but with trust. Because what He is unfolding now is not just about her, and not just about waiting. It is about alignment between your soul and His purpose. Sometimes you focus so much on the person that you forget the transformation happening inside you. God has been reshaping how you see love, how you see yourself, and how you hear His voice in moments of uncertainty. You may not realize it yet, but you are no longer the same person you were when this connection first began. Your prayers have changed. Your questions have changed. Even your silence has changed. That is growth. And God is intentional about growth. He does not waste seasons. He does not let pain exist without producing wisdom. Every moment of confusion has been softening parts of you that were once rigid, and strengthening parts of you that were once fragile. She stays because God is teaching you how to sit with uncertainty without losing faith. This is not easy. It stretches you. It reveals where you still want control. It exposes how deeply you desire reassurance. But God is using this stretch to show you that peace does not come from knowing the outcome, it comes from trusting the one who controls it. There is a sacred difference between waiting in fear and waiting in faith. Fear says, "What if I lose her?" Faith says, "Even if I lose her, God will not lose me." And God is guiding you from one mindset to the other. Not by lectures. Not by sudden answers. But by lived experience. Sometimes you mistake silence for absence. But God's silence is often His work happening beneath the surface. Roots grow in darkness. Foundations are built where no one applauds. And in this quiet, God has been anchoring you so deeply that when clarity finally comes, you will not collapse under it. She stays because God is also showing you what you truly want, not just from her, but from life, from love, from partnership. You are beginning to understand that attraction without peace is not enough. Connection without clarity is not enough. Hope without consistency is not enough. These realizations are holy. They are answers to prayers you may not even remember praying. You have asked God for real love, not confusing love. For mutual commitment, not emotional guessing. For peace, not emotional highs followed by emotional crashes. And God takes those prayers seriously. So He allows you to experience the contrast. He allows you to feel what uncertainty does to your heart, so you will never again mistake intensity for intimacy. God is also gently teaching you that not every season requires action. Some seasons require observation. Watching how someone shows up. Watching how they choose. Watching whether words align with behavior. This season is sharpening your discernment. It is teaching you to listen not just to what she says, but to how you feel after interactions. Do you feel calm or anxious? Grounded or unsettled? Seen or confused? God often speaks through those emotional signals. She stays because God is allowing truth to reveal itself over time. Forced clarity can be misleading. Rushed decisions can lead to regret. But time has a way of exposing what is genuine and what is temporary. God knows this. That is why He is patient even when you feel tired of waiting, and hear this gently: God is not asking you to wait forever. He is asking you to wait wisely. There is a difference. Waiting wisely means you do not put your life on hold. You do not shrink your joy. You do not stop growing. You continue becoming the person God is shaping you to be, regardless of whether she stays or leaves. There is a quiet confidence God wants to grow in you, the kind that says, I desire love, but I do not depend on uncertainty. The kind that says, I am open, but I am not desperate. The kind that says, I trust God enough to walk away if peace is constantly missing. That confidence is attractive not just to others, but to the life God is preparing for you. Sometimes God keeps someone around long enough for you to realize that you are capable of letting go. That realization is powerful. It means you are no longer controlled by fear of loss. It means you are choosing yourself in a healthy way. And God smiles when His children learn to love themselves without guilt. She stays because you are learning that love should not feel like a constant question mark. Love should feel like safety, like clarity, like mutual effort. And the more you understand this, the less willing you become to accept less. That shift is God at work. There may come moments when you feel guilty for wanting more clarity, more effort, more certainty. Do not feel guilty. Those desires are not selfish. They are signs of maturity. God does not call you to settle for crumbs when He has prepared a table. God also wants you to know that whatever the outcome, you will not walk away empty-handed. You will walk away wiser, stronger, more grounded, more aligned with His will. If she stays and steps into clarity, you will enter that relationship as someone who knows their worth. If she leaves, you will step forward without bitterness, without desperation, and without losing yourself, and that is love's true victory, not holding on at all costs, but becoming whole regardless of the outcome. So breathe. You do not need to force answers today. You do not need to make final decisions tonight. God is still writing, still aligning, still protecting. And He promises this: when the season changes, you will understand why it had to take this long. Until then, remain open but grounded, hopeful but discerning, loving but self-respecting. God's love for you is not fragile. It does not depend on her staying. It does not weaken in waiting. It is steady, constant, and intentional. This is not the end of the message. It is the deepening of it. And as you continue to walk forward, God walks with you, closer than ever, guiding you toward a peace that does not confuse you, and a love that does not leave you questioning your worth. And now, as this message reaches its final unfolding, God wants you to rest in a truth that brings quiet strength rather than emotional noise. Everything you have felt, every question you have carried, every moment of waiting that seemed too long, none of it has been wasted. Not a single tear. Not a single prayer whispered in exhaustion. Not a single night where you asked God why love felt unclear. All of it has been gathered into wisdom that will guide you for the rest of your life. God confirms His love for you by showing you that you were never weak for caring deeply. Sensitivity is not a flaw. Loyalty is not foolishness. Hope is not naive. But God also confirms His love by teaching you when to release what no longer nurtures your peace. Love that costs you your identity is not the love God intends to give you. And now, you are finally strong enough to understand that without fear, she stayed long enough for you to learn the difference between attachment and alignment. Attachment clings because it is afraid of emptiness. Alignment rests because it trusts abundance. God has been gently moving you from one to the other. That is why the waiting felt uncomfortable. It was stretching you beyond old patterns. You are no longer asking God to prove Himself. You are learning to trust Him. That shift matters more than you realize. Trust changes how you love, how you choose, how you let go. It turns desperation into discernment and fear into faith. There will come a moment, subtle but undeniable, when your heart becomes calm about the outcome. That calm is not indifference. It is surrender. And surrender is not giving up, it is giving over control to a God who sees what you cannot. When that moment arrives, clarity will follow naturally. You will not have to chase answers. They will meet you in peace. If she is meant to walk with you forward, it will happen without confusion. Without mixed signals. Without emotional guessing. God does not bless relationships that require constant anxiety to survive. He blesses those that bring mutual clarity, growth, and rest. And if that clarity does not come, God will give you the strength to walk away without breaking your own heart. Do not fear the ending of what is unclear. Endings make room for beginnings that do not require you to shrink. God never removes something without replacing it with something that aligns better with who you are becoming. What feels like loss today will feel like protection tomorrow. You will one day thank God not just for what He gave you, but for what He withheld. You will see how certain delays saved you from long-term pain. You will recognize how this season refined your standards, strengthened your faith, and deepened your understanding of love. God's final reassurance to you is this: you are safe. Safe in His timing. Safe in His love. Safe in the future He is preparing. You do not need to rush. You do not need to compete. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone. Let your heart rest. Let your spirit breathe. Let God finish what He started. The love meant for you will not confuse you, drain you, or leave you questioning your value. It will recognize you, choose you, and meet you in peace. This chapter is closing not with fear, but with wisdom. Not with loss, but with growth. Not with confusion, but with clarity that unfolds gently. And as you step forward, know this with certainty: God's love has carried you here, and it will carry you into something far greater than what you were afraid to lose. Remain in faith. Remain in peace. Remain open. God is with you, now and in